Hi people, it's another day and it's no question unanswered. Yes, we are leaving no stone unturned. We are going to answer every question on your question papers. My name is Mandy Hilton Lati, your host, and today we are looking at the BECE 2012 English paper, the paper 2 to be specific, and we would join Mr. Ablakwa in the classroom. But before we do that, let's look at this tip. Do you know that you can't learn a whole course in one night or in one day? So it's better to start learning right from the beginning. Read your notes, solve those questions, use your textbooks, read them, and learn every day instead of waiting on the night of the exam to do all that. It's unnecessary. So please don't learn a whole course in one night. That's the tip for the day. Now we would join Mr. Ablakwa in the classroom to take us through the section B of the English BECE 2012 paper. I'll be right back. Don't move an inch. Join Mr. Ablakwa in the classroom. See ya.
Now, talking about the second question, it reads, write a story which ends with, we arrived just in time to save the situation. Viewers, here again, sense of imagination and creativity comes in. And so we are going to imagine and create a story which will end that because of your arrival, a certain situation which was going bad was saved. Let's say your house was on fire whilst you were away. And then on return, you managed to call in the fire service to put out the fire. This is a clear case of arriving in time to save the situation. Or somebody was drowning somewhere in a river, and then you arrived in to rescue the person from being drowned by the river. Okay? So it has to do with creativity and imagination. And this question, you don't need an address because it's not a letter. You only need a heading. A heading. A heading. Which reads, we arrived just in time to save the situation. And you also need to paragraph your work. You need to paragraph your work according to the points that you write. Let me talk briefly about the last one. The last one says, write a letter to your brother who is outside the country describing a ceremony where your father received the National Best Farmers Award. This is also a letter. This is a letter. But this is not an official letter because you are writing to your brother. So this letter would take just one address. That is the writer or the sender's address. And then you follow all the protocols discussed in the blueprint. Viewers, I want to say that for your essay, this is what examiners look out for. Your tenses. Okay, most of you use the past tense instead of present and vice versa. Okay, so you have to watch and use the appropriate tenses. Spellings is another area where most candidates fall short. They are not able to spell words correctly. So you watch your spellings, and then the agreement between the subject and the verb of every construction you make is also very important. Paragraphing is an issue that you should not overlook. A paragraph should capture the main idea in your letter. You don't jam two ideas in a paragraph. And then punctuation, very, very, very important. Most of you write 2-3 pages without a full stop, without a comma. This is very bad. So you observe your punctuations appropriately, and then you'll be seen to be writing a very good essay. Well, viewers, having said that, we shall look at the comprehension passage that came that year. And so I read. As I've always advised, you read the instructions first. The instruction says, read the passage carefully and answer all the questions which follow. It didn't say some, it said all. So this is a passage that confronted candidates in that year, 2012. I read. Cholera is a very dangerous disease which can kill many people within a short time. Indeed, it has ruined several communities, particularly in developing countries. It must therefore be prevented at all costs. The disease is generally spread by germs, which thrive in filthy and unhygienic areas. There could be an outbreak of cholera when drinking water becomes polluted by floods after a downpour. Human carriers also cause the disease to spread from place to place. For example, a person carrying the cholera germs would vomit or pass frequent stools. Flies will then carry the germs on their hairy legs and deposit them on exposed food or in water. When a person eats the contaminated food or drinks the polluted water, he or she is likely to contract the disease within a few days. The person would go about spreading the disease unknowingly. On the whole, the main symptoms of cholera are severe diarrhea and vomiting, which may result in loss of weight. The stool tends to be watery, as a lot of fluid is lost from the body. It can soon result in death unless the lost fluid is replaced immediately. The first thing for the patient to do is to replenish as much fluid as is lost by taking, from time to time, boiled water which has been allowed to cool and mixed with salt and sugar. Then she should seek medical attention. Viewers, this is our passage. Now the questions. Where do cholera germs usually breed? That is A. B. Mention the two main carriers of cholera germs. C. State two signs of cholera. That is C1. C2. Give one effect of the disease. D. What advice does the writer give to the cholera patient? E. Explain the following expressions in your own words. E1. It has ruined several communities. E2. At all costs. E3. After a downpour. F. For each of the following words, give another word or phrase that means the same and can fit into the passage. I. Thrive. I. Deposit. I. Rapid. IV. Replenish. V. Sick. Now the solution. For a comprehension passage like this, ladies and gentlemen, viewers, candidates, you need to take your time and read through the passage carefully, noting down certain salient facts and ideas in the passage. So let's take the questions one after the other while we discuss. Question A says, where do cholera germs usually breed? The answer can be found in the very first paragraph of the passage. I read, the disease is generally spread by germs which thrive in filthy and unhygienic areas. So, cholera germs usually breed or thrive in filthy and unhygienic areas. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our correct answer. It says, mention the two main carriers of the cholera germ. Two main carriers. In the passage, it is stated here, in the first paragraph, that the disease is spread by human carriers and flies alike. So the two main carriers here are humans and flies. Question C. 1. State two signs of cholera. Ladies and gentlemen, this is also directly captured in the passage. This is found in the third paragraph. I read, the person would go about spreading the disease unknowingly. On the whole, the main symptoms of cholera are severe diarrhea and vomiting. So that is our answer. Two signs of cholera or two symptoms are diarrhea and vomiting, as stated in our passage. C2, give one effect of the disease. When a person contracts the cholera disease, what are the effects? What are the effects? The person vomits. The person experiences diarrhea. So vomiting and severe diarrhea. One could possibly even die as a result of losing lots of fluids if one does not replenish the fluids that is lost. All right. Let's look at the next one. What advice does the writer give to the cholera patient? That is D. From the passage in paragraph 3, the writer states that the first thing for the patient to do is to replenish as much fluid as is lost. So the patient must take in much fluid as it's lost and then seek medical attention. So that is the advice the writer gives to the patient. Answer for question D. E. Explain the following expressions in your own words. In your own words. This is where most candidates find it difficult to write something. The expression is, it has ruined several communities. Cholera has ruined several communities. This simply means that many people have lost their lives through the cholera disease. It is people who make up communities. So if we have been told here that the disease has ruined several communities, then it means that several people have lost their lives through contracting the cholera disease. And so that is what it means. It has ruined several communities. Now the next expression is at all cost. At all cost. At all cost. At all costs, we are looking at how to do away with the cholera disease. So at all costs here means by every means possible. By every means possible. And then the last expression is after a downpour. A downpour is simply rainfall. So after rainfall. And let's look at the last part. It says, and I read, for each of the following words, give another word or phrase that means the same and can fit into the passage. Viewers, most candidates do not regard the instructions here. They disregard it and do anything they so wish or so desire, and it affects them negatively. What this means is that the word or phrase that you are going to give must be able to fit into the passage and must carry the same meaning. So we have thrive, T-H-R-I-V-E. Let me read from the passage. It says that the disease is generally spread by germs which thrive in filthy and unhygienic areas. Thrive. They develop, they grow, they do well. Okay? So to thrive is to grow, to develop, to multiply. Yes. So you can choose any of these words. Grow. And when we fit it there, it fits perfectly. So I read, the disease is generally spread by germs which grow in filthy and unhygienic areas, which develop, which multiply. And so all these words are appropriate. Let's look at the next word, which is deposit. Deposit. I read from the passage. Flies will then carry the germs on their hairy legs and deposit them on exposed food or in water. Deposit. So viewers, to replace deposit, we can use lay, L-A-Y, or store, or drop. Let's come back to the passage and fix this words there and see whether they can fit in there. Flies will then carry the germs on their hairy legs and lay them on exposed food and drop them on exposed food and store them on exposed food. So lay, store, drop, or are all appropriate in replacing the word deposit. Let's look at the next word. Rapid. 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 Rapid was used in the passage, and we are to replace it with another word. So for rapid, we can say fast, quick, or speedy. And this fits perfectly into the passage. We have another word, replenish. Replenish. To replenish is to restore, or to replace, or to regain. And so when you take the passage, in the third paragraph, let's put our words there to see if they can fit. Restore and replace. The first thing for the patient to do is to replenish, restore, replace as much fluid as is lost. So they fit in perfectly well. So viewers, your words are restore and replace. The last word is seek. Seek. Then he, she should seek medical attention. Here you are asked to use either a phrase or a word. Okay? Phrases are a group of words that does not make complete sense. And so, we can use get medical care, receive medical care, or look for medical care, which is a phrase in that case. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how to go about the comprehension passage.
Hello, welcome back. That was interesting. It was another interesting essay topic we looked at, and I believe you were able to do it and you followed Mr. Blackwell each step of the way. As we saw earlier on, it is not right to learn a whole course in one night. So please start learning now. If you're not doing that, start doing that now, so you don't find yourself wanting on the day of the exam. My name is Mandy Hilton Latte, and it is no question unanswered. See you.